Study Session 2. The Methods of Social Casework. Introduction. Social casework is the professional method employed by a casework with an individual who needs help with some aspect of social functioning. Improvement in social functioning is achieved by means of mobilizing the capacities within the individual and family and the appropriate resources in the community. The mobilization of inner capacities and environmental resources is accomplished primarily through the relationship between the caseworker and the client. The relationship, which is established during the period of study and exploration and is developed throughout the treatment process, enables the client to work towards a constructive solution of his problem. A professional relationship is controlled and directed by the caseworker in accordance with technical principles and procedures, and is modified according to the client's capacities and needs, the phase of the casework process, and the nature of the solution. Pretest. Discuss the method of social casework. 2. State the importance of method in casework practice. 3. Discuss social casework relationship. The basic concept of casework are generic and are applicable to any setting in which casework is practiced. Their application is adapted to the specific function and program of the setting. In family agencies, these concepts are adapted to meet a wide range of social, somatic, and psychological problems in interaction, to meet the needs of the various individuals within the family constellation and those of the family groups. Social casework in a family agency. Social casework in a family agency is based on the concept of the family as a social unit, which provides for the group and its members the primary opportunity for growth and development, and which contains potentials for physical and emotional health or illness. The family, therefore, is conceived as part of the individual and the individual as part of the family. Thus, both family and individual are units for study and treatment. The family is not conceived as background. Thus, both family and individual are units for study and treatment. The family is not conceived as background, but is in the foreground of each phase of the casework process. The individual affects and is affected by the family in a continuous flow of psychological interplay, and each family member is understood and considered within the context of family interaction, as well as within the context of his own psychological structure. Therefore, casework treatment in the family agency influences constructively not only individuals, but also the interplay between individuals in the family group. Treatment is directed toward creation of as healthy a climate as possible. Whether the family maintains itself as an unbroken unit or is broken by deliberate plan or by forces beyond the individual's or family's control. At the same time, the family agency caseworker has responsibility for assessing the potential capacities and aiding in the optimal development of all family members. Identifying the characteristics of a family group requires knowledge and understanding of the family's values and patterns of response, of the adequacy with which individuals carry their respective roles, of the influence of each individual's patterns of response upon other family members and upon the family as a group, of the balance of demands and gratification occurring in relationships between individual family members, and of the ways in which family members and family units affect and are affected by social, economic, and cultural factors. The casework relationship. Essential to all aspects of the casework process are: 1. The possession by the caseworker of an accurate body of technical knowledge about human development and social experience, skillfully brought to bear on the client's behalf. And 2, the development and use of the relationship between the caseworker and the client. A professional casework relationship is one that enables the client to express facts, attitudes, and feelings with a guarantee that the worker's response will be geared to the client's needs, not to the worker's needs. Relationship develops out of the caseworker's inquiry into and response to the client's problem and situation. His expressed and unexpressed needs, his attitudes, feelings, and motivation. It is adapted to the client's capacities and needs and to the purpose and objective of each phase of the casework process. It depends upon the establishment of an emotional response in the client which permits communication between him and the caseworkers. In combination with the application of his technical knowledge, the caseworker's response, which contains the elements of compassion, impartiality, respect, spontaneity, and stimulation, ordinarily results in a relationship that is predominantly one of confidence in casework. Such a relationship must be attained before maximum results can be achieved. The caseworker has responsibility for the establishment, development, control, and direction of the relationship and for enabling the client to make constructive use of his current and potential capacity for it. The caseworker must be aware of the elements of the relationship both from the client's and from his own point of view throughout the casework process. The caseworker keeps the relationship a realistic one, using the positive elements in the relationship to motivate and influence the client toward the maximal solution of his problems. The caseworker does not use techniques that invite or enhance any unconscious symbolic meaning that he may have for the client. The client may direct both positive and negative reactions toward the caseworker. This the caseworker needs to understand and deal with realistically in treatment in terms of their rational and irrational origin. The caseworker has responsibility for becoming aware of, understanding, controlling, and changing any of his own reactions which are subjectively rather than objectively related to the client and his situation. The relationship is not an end in itself but a dynamic one that is used by the caseworker to influence the client's motivation to seek and use help in any phase of the casework process. There are phases in casework process that are professionally followed. Caseworkers must fully understand this and be adequately knowledgeable in these phases of casework process. The study phase. This phase is the initial period in the casework process in which pertinent social, somatic, and psychological facts about the client and his family are obtained by the caseworker in a systematic way, starting with the applicant's presenting request. The initial study phase continues until certain purposes are, if possible, achieved. They are 1. To acquire sufficient knowledge and understanding of the client, his family group, and their life situation to determine kind of help the client requires. 2. To enable the client to understand and accept the reasons for the arrived at plan. Social casework treatment as a phase. Social casework treatment is that phase in the casework process which is undertaken within a planned and systematic framework to enable the client and family group to restore, strengthen, or improve certain aspects of adaptation and social functioning. The choice of a specific plan of treatment for an individual client depends upon the caseworker's appraisal of the ego's adaptive adequacy, the significance of somatic, socio-economic, cultural factors, and the attitude of individual family members and the interplay among them. A treatment method and its techniques need to be viewed as a whole throughout the period of treatment, and In the treatment process, the caseworker seeks to engage and develop the conscious participation of the client insofar as this is compatible with the client's capacities and motivations. Termination. This is another phase which may occur during any of the previous phases mentioned above. In other words, the client or caseworker may terminate casework process at any stage of the phases. Examples: study phase or treatment phase. This may be due to several reasons such as lack of interest on the part of the client, lack of progress in the process, death of client or transfer of clients, etc. In summary, termination in social casework process occurs because of the following. 1. Agreed goals being achieved within a preset time. 2. Clients deciding they have been helped enough. 3. Workers learning or clients moving from the district. 4. The end of statutory requirements. 5. Agency policy on time limits. 6. Workload management and priority systems. 7. Resource limitations. 8. Lack of time and pressure of work. 9. Advice from supervisor. 10. Influence of other agencies. And 11. Death of the client. Koshed and Om, 1998. The caseworker may need to discuss with the client possible future circumstances that may make him wish either to reapply or to avail himself of another resource. Unless there are sound contraindications, the client should understand that he may reapply if the need arises. Study session summary. Social casework has been defined as the professional method employed by a caseworker with an individual who needs help with some aspect or aspect of social functioning. Social casework is about relationship between the caseworker and the client. This relationship is established during the period of study and exploration and is developed throughout the treatment process to enable the client to work towards a constructive solution of his problem. Social casework in a family agency is based on the concept of the family as the social unit which provides for the group and its members. And the family is conceived as part of the individual and the individual as part of the family. There are 3 major phases in social casework process, namely the study phase, the treatment phase, and the termination phase. The study phase is the initial period when facts about the client and his family are obtained by the caseworker. Treatment phase is the middle and the period when the caseworker intervenes in the client's case. Termination phase is the ending of the casework process. Only professionally trained social workers or caseworkers implement these phases as demanded and required by both the caseworker and the client. End of study session 2. Thank you for listening.